Hello guys, in this episode of the Sandbox Game Maker tutorial, I'm gonna teach you everything about the entity properties. Okay, let's go! Voxel aliens! To showcase the entity properties, we need an entity, so let's add one to the scene. As you can see, after selecting the entity from the scene, we can see the properties window popping up from the right side of the screen. To make everything more clear and understandable, let's answer the question what the properties are. Properties of an object are the sets of variables that define the entity existence and behavior. As you can see, there are a lot of variables, so let's get through all of them. Starting from the top, we've got information about the object type, and in this case it's called entity. Here's also the button that let us collapse the menu. Okay, now the important part. This eye icon allows us to change the visibility of the entity. As you can see, if I launch the game now, the object is invisible. Okay, let's change it back to normal and set the name of our object, because right next to the eye icon there is the text box where you can name your object. As I've already mentioned in the previous video, naming objects allows us to find it faster in the hierarchy. Next we've got the transform attributes. As you can see, there are 6 boxes, 3 for position and 3 for rotation. Those attributes define the placement of the objects in the whole experience. As you can see, the value changes when I move the entity. And that's because I'm constantly assigning the new value to the z-axis. On the other hand, if I use the blue arrow, I'm changing the x-axis value. And as you could assume, after selecting the green arrow, you are changing the y-axis. Of course, you can set every value by hand, it works as well. So same for the rotation, you just need to change the tool or set them manually. Okay, going further, we've got the physics and collision type. There are 3 possible collision types. Here we've got the default collision, and right now we can't do more than just jump on our entity. So let's change it and see something interesting. Right now, with no collision selected, we are going to fly through the object. And the last type of collision we can use is the collision with additional gravity, and it led us to pull the objects around by adding a gravity to the entity. And that's basically it when it comes to physics. Next we've got the attributes. We can interpret them as the power-ups that change the maximum values of the particular elements in behaviors and components. We can assign the attributes while adding the assets to the asset store. Okay, next we've got maybe the most important part of the properties, and those are the behavior and components. As you can see, there's huge amount of components and behaviors in here, and you can be sure that I will create episodes that will cover every single one of them. For now, you should only know that components and behaviors define the characteristic of an object. They are basically the whole logic standing behind the entity. And one important information is that the entity can contain only one behavior and multiple components. Okay, last but not least, we've got the tags. And tags are basically groups that we can assign object to. For example, if we want this component to send the message to a specific type of object, we can just assign tag to the object we want to communicate with. We can set this tag to be boy, and if we assign the same tag to the entity, in the end they could reach each other. Okay guys, I think that's it if it's about the properties. Hope you learned something new. As usual, if you got any troubles, leave the comments down below and I'll try to help you as soon as I can. Hope you are doing fine. Cheers!